The House Government Operations Committee for Monday, 15 April, will please come to order. Clerk, please call the roll.
Representatives Bolso, Carr, Chisholm, Clemens, Crawford, Eldridge, Faison, Hakeem, Helton Haynes, Himmer, Johnson, Jones, Kiesling, Kumar, Lafferty, Littleton, Martin, McCalman, Rudder, Reedy, Vice Chairman Reedy, Chairman Reagan.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Members, do we have any personal orders? Seeing none, we will go ahead and get started on our calendar. Item number 1 is House Bill 2318 by Chairman Williams. We have a motion and a second. And Chairman Williams, I'm showing you want to add an amendment to the drafting code, please, sir?
017953.
That is what we have.
This amendment just makes a technical change to.
All right, we have a motion and a second on your amendment. Any objection among the committee for adding it to the bill right now? Seeing none, all in favor of adding amendment number 17953 to the bill, indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Ayes have it. Your amendment is on the bill, sir. Please explain your bill as amended.
Thank you, Chairman and members. This bill is the joint work between the physician's assistants and the Tennessee Medical Association. What this bill does, for the first time, it would codify language as it relates to scope of practice with physician's assistants, and places in statute their ability to diagnose and treat patients in the collaborative practice with a physician. This includes their ability to order durable medical equipment, also to do some, with oversight, some level 2 or 3 office-based surgery where there is a certain type of anesthesia given. It also would give physician assistants the authority to sign death certificates. Additionally, it authorized medical settings to exercise greater flexibility for those physician assistants who have practiced more than 6,000 hours of postgraduate clinical experience, which is equivalent to about 3 years. Under this new bill, this new collaborative format, protocols will be less prescriptive and would allow collaborating physician and the PA to determine the level of oversight needed. Nothing in statute changes for physicians assistants who are practicing less than that 6,000 hour requirement. The current practice would still remain the same. And this bill does not include anything for advanced practice nurse practitioners. With that, Chairman and members, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Members, you've heard the sponsor's explanation. Do we have questions of the sponsor? Chairman Kumar, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Chairman Williams, for bringing this. It certainly streamlines the process. Just a question. What is the degree of physician supervision during the collaboration?
You're recognized, sir.
The degree prior to the 6,000 hours or after the 6,000 hours?
You can tell us both.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I asked that question. So, no, I'm just kidding. I'm not glad I asked that question. But the current practice of physician assistants less than 6,000 hours would remain as it currently is. All this bill would do is for those with more than 6,000 hours, it would allow them to be able to do, with physician oversight, things like minor surgeries, as long as there wasn't large anesthesia or anything like that. Signed death certificates, as I said before, would also maintain the standard of care for an endorsed PA with the same as that as the physician performing it. So they'd have to be able to understand and know that subspecialty, if you will.
Follow up, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman Clemens, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sorry, I was running behind. With regards to that standard of care, so that's a pretty touchy issue. I mean, we still have the locality rule in Tennessee, unfortunately. And so if one of these physician assistants did something that arguably breached the standard of care, would hypothetically a physician be the appropriate expert testimony to prove the deviation or the breach of that standard of care? Or would another physician assistant be the appropriate person in that case?
You're recognized, sir.
Thank you. One of the changes made along the way deals directly with that. The way that the process would be set up is that there will be a physician assistant and a physician if there were any claims or issues as it relates to the standard of care, and that board would determine whether or not that the standard was met.
Follow up, sir.
So both a physician assistant and a physician. So what's the context if they contradict each other? Which one is going to prevail? And does that require two paid experts if there were litigation for that purpose? Is there any insight in that?
You're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Chairman Clemens. The bill for the rulemaking process as it relates to the section, it just says it clarifies the responsibilities of the collaborating physician and improves the ability of the department to prosecute a collaborating physician for failing to fulfill the requirements of collaboration with the physician assistant. It also puts the process streamline the rulemaking process to more quickly implement this act, but it also added the ability to ensure the rules will be placed. So it's my understanding the way that it worked that the Department of Health would be and the board would be the ultimate arbiter in whether or not that standard of care was met. But the physician, under the terms of this and the collaboration agreement, hits his responsibility to make sure, because of the collaborating agreement, that the physician assistant is meeting the standard of care.
Follow up, sir. Any other questions? Seeing none, we are going to vote on sending House Bill 2318 to Finance, Ways and Means without objection. Seeing none. All members in favor of sending it to Finance, Ways and Means indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Ayes have it. Bill moves out to Finance, Ways and Means, sir. Next on our agenda is House Bill 2011 by Chairman Vaughn. Motion. We have a motion and a second. You're recognized on your bill, sir, and you have no amendments for this committee, correct?
That is correct, Chairman Vern. Chairman Reagan, excuse me. Patients like convenient interactions with their healthcare providers these days, and innovation in the medical record space is constantly evolving. So as we see, many patients have various doctors within multiple health systems. This bill tries to eliminate the hurdles of the transference of medical information between those doctors, many times letting the patients get them to their provider of choice. It enforces federal anti-blocking measures and limits anti-competitive behavior of the vendors who are in charge of the electronic health records.
Members, you've heard an explanation from the sponsor. Do we have any questions of the sponsor? Question's been called on the bill. Without objection, we are voting on sending House Bill 2011 to Calendar and Rules. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Bill moves to Calendar and Rules.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee.
Next on our agenda, item number 3 is rolled to our next meeting. That's House Bill 526 by Chairman Haston. Rolled. Item number 4 on our agenda is House Bill 2206. We have a motion and a second. Chairman Gillespie, you are recognized for an explanation on your bill, and I show no amendments for this committee. Is that correct, sir? You're recognized.
So much, Chairman Reagan and committee. Pretty simple bill. What this would allow is law enforcement agencies to transport human remains for the purpose of training. Current law prohibits law enforcement from transporting human remains. Currently, it's actually a Class C felony. What this would do is would require to conduct this training in accordance with best practices and procedures, including secure storage, use of remains as training aids, and proper disposal. I've had lengthy conversations with the TBI, Shelby County Sheriff's Office, University of Tennessee Body Farm, Medical Examiner's Office, and I think this is the best posture that we're going to get this in. It's kind of a unique situation, and I renew my motion.
Members, you've heard an explanation of the bill. First on my list is Representative Hemmer. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No, thank you for bringing this. One thing I would just like to say is it looks like Department of Health and TBI will be making the rules for this. This is a really sensitive topic, and I've seen there's big headlines that happened a couple years ago. Harvard Medical School mishandled some of these remains for training, and you can really get in a lot of trouble real quick on that. So I'll be interested to see the rules for this particular legislation and making sure that it's done appropriately.
Any response, sir?
Thank you. Actually, I'm not sure that they will be directly making those rules. I believe it would be up to the individual law enforcement agencies. But it is within the best practices of, I'm certainly not an expert, but it would be whoever those people are that deal with human remains. It would be in accordance with the best practices that are already established. I hope that didn't confuse you.
Sir, I believe on your amendment is TBI. You recognize, sir?
Yeah, thank you,
Oh.
Mr. Chairman. It just, yeah, from looking at the dashboard, it says, conducted in accordance with the rules promulgated by TBI, then TBI in consultation with the Department of Health shall promulgate the rules regarding the use of human remains.
You recognize, sir?
All right, now I believe I've confused everyone, and I should have started with this. I thought this amendment was traveling with the bill.
It is, sir.
That
What amendment are you showing on your bill, sir? We'll just double check everything.
14549.
You are correct, sir. Next on my list is Representative Chisholm.
Thank you, Chairman. So I guess this question I guess it's upcoming when they get ready to promulgate rules, but will families sign off on this before these bodies are released?
You recognize, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So those rules already are established. The remains that we're talking about are already coming from whether they're donated for law enforcement research or donated for other types of research that doesn't fall into this. Those rules are already established that we already have oversight over. We're not changing that at all. What this is just simply doing is adopting what are currently already established best practices and allowing law enforcement officers to transport these remains. Because right now they can only be transported by medical examiners, University of Tennessee, and that's really it. And law enforcement right now they train with basically placentas, and the scent that gives off is not the same as a decayed human remain, which is what we're trying to accomplish here. Right now, law enforcement cannot actually transport those remains themselves, and this would allow them to do that.
Follow up, Representative Chisholm.
Thank you.
Next on my list is Chairman Clemens.
I was just curious, where did this bill come from? This is pretty dark, man.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'll be honest, it makes me a little queasy talking about it. My sheriff brought it to me, Sheriff Bonner in Shelby County. So I don't think they asked me ahead of time how I did with morgues, but I'm not good at that.
Thanks.
Follow up. The question's been called. Without objection, then, we're going to be voting on sending House Bill 2206 to calendar and rules. All in favor indicate by saying aye. All opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Bill moves out to calendar and rules with all the cadavers and everything else. Next on our list is House Bill 2232. We have a motion and a second, and I show no amendment to be added in this committee. Is that correct, sir?
That is correct. If the other one's traveling with it.
You're recognized on your bill as amended, sir.
Thank you, Chairman and Committee. What this bill does is direct TASER to do a study on the state of childcare and to help us better understand the benefits cliff, specifically as it relates to those who work in childcare facilities. With that, I stand ready to answer any questions.
Members, you've heard an explanation of the bill. Do we have questions of our sponsor? Chairman Lafferty, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Hey, I was looking over your list of items here. It seems like the idea is to figure out how and why it is that healthcare is expensive and how we can help childcare workers to afford childcare and be parents at the same time. Is that kind of the gist of what we're doing here?
You're recognized, sir.
Yes, you said healthcare. Did you mean to say childcare?
I'm sorry, childcare.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Yeah, because that's exactly right. Yes, sir. The number of people who work in the childcare profession that struggle to make payments or to pay for their own children to go to childcare, to identify what that problem looks like, and then present something back to us that we can hopefully help solve it.
Follow up, sir.
Yep, thank you for that. It's one of the things I noticed missing from the list here was marital status. I've seen other reports in other areas that directly correlate marital status with economic outcomes, kids living in poverty, kids going hungry, kids having what's the word I'm looking for? Where you act out in school, kids have behavioral issues and things like that, disciplinary issues. Would that not be important to this report as well?
You're recognized, sir.
Yeah, I'm not, I think so. And I'm getting ready to look it up. It requires demographic, and I'm curious if that couldn't fall within demographic data.
That might cover it.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that's a fairly broad, I'm sorry, Chairman.
You're recognized. Go
Sorry.
ahead.
I would assume that's a fairly broad term there that we can put in there. And I mean, I definitely think that would be important. And I know Tasser will come back and listen to this, and that could be something that they should include in the report.
Follow up.
And just the last one, I saw something about being a resident of the state of Tennessee. Was there anything about citizenship included in this?
You're recognized, sir.
Not for the study. It's just trying to gather the information. But that would be called out if that would also be included in the demographic data.
All right. Thanks, sponsor. Thanks,
Yes, sir.
Chair.
Any other questions of our presenter? Seeing none, without objection then, we're going to vote on sending House Bill 2232 to Finance, Ways and Means. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Bill moves out to Finance, Ways and Means. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chairman Committee.
Next on our agenda is item number 6, House Bill 2650. We have a motion and a second. Chair Lady Hilton Haynes, you have an amendment on the bill. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I do.
I'm
is-
showing amendment number 18203. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And it's to be added in this committee.
Yes, sir.
We have a motion and a second on the amendment. Members will add this before the discussion. Without objection, we're voting on adding 18203 amendment to House Bill 2650. All in favor indicate, say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The amendment is on the bill. Chair Lady Hilton Haynes, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This legislation improves the Tennessee Health Facilities Commission ability to regulate nursing homes and assisted care living facilities. It's drafted in collaboration between the HFC and the Tennessee Healthcare Association. It allows for more flexibility and swiftness without diminishing quality standards of patient care. Other cleanup changes included in this legislation have been brought by HFC by other stakeholders to address necessary statute changes. Some of the changes are that it creates the authority for the Health Facilities Commission to file for receivership of facilities that are in financial distress. This authority will allow the state to appoint a temporary manager to oversee these facilities. It establishes the Independent Informal Dispute Resolution Program for nursing home facilities to contest disciplinary action assessed against them by the HFC. It creates the Assisted Care Living Facility Quality Improvement Fund, which will create grants for assisted care living facilities to utilize. Adds the HFC Executive Director to the Department of Health Board for Nursing Home Administrators, and makes various other changes to clean up and modernize the statute. And all parties agree to the changes in this bill, and it cleans up the original intent, which is to get these organizations to work together and benefit our state seniors and other patients. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I will take any questions.
Members, you've heard an explanation of the bill as amended. Do we have questions of the sponsor? The question's been called. Without objection, we're going to be voting to send House Bill as a 2650 as amended to Finance, Ways and Means. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Bill moves out to Finance, Ways and Means.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and
Members,
committee.
that completes our agenda. We do have at least one more meeting scheduled, or to be scheduled rather. Be watching for your emails on exactly when that's going to be. Hopefully, it'll be the same time, same channel next week. But at this particular time of year, the clerk schedules our committee hearings at different times than we're used to. So be on the lookout. Any further business to come before our committee? We have a motion to adjourn. Without debate, we are adjourned.